So for the Dan, we are definitely back for session 5. Yeah. So what's that?
Cinco.
Yeah, Cinco. So to get the game started, let's do initiative. And Adam, if you wouldn't mind, put it up on the initiative ladder.
I do not mind.
Thank you. Let's get it running. Cue up a little bit of intro music.
11.
11?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Look at me.
Learn the
Not
rules.
needing any help.
Yeah. I looked at my paper.
12.
Oh, I see how it is. Just one up and
Oops.
14.
Ooh.
Second worst I can get.
Yeah, so you're the watchman, right? So you get double 2d20.
I can only roll a little lower than that.
Yeah, watchmen get awesome bonuses to initiative. That's the watchman with the highest initiative does. If there's 2 watchmen, whichever watchman gets the highest initiative, unless there's a smuggler.
Yeah,
Then the smuggler always goes first.
always goes first.
Yeah.
Which I thought was one of the coolest. When I played a smuggler, that was one of my favorite things. Hans goes first. Well, I'm just gonna
Hans
shoot.
first.
That's what I always do.
Let's do. Everybody roll 1d6 chaos head. See how many fortune points you start with today. I get 1.
Puppies on the outside.
Oh, you get 2 so far.
I got
boy.
a 1.
Okay, perfect. Did you roll 6?
1 for us. 3.
Okay, 3.
Trace.
So it looks like you've got 3 fortune points for the party. The party. And I've got 2 misfortune points for the game master. So now that we've got initiative ladder established, we've got our chaos, our roller chaos dice for fortune and misfortune. We should recap what happened last time because Nick was out. I got that session up pretty quick. I don't know if anyone listens to them or not, but I got them up on Drive. I try to get up there as quick for you in case you want to listen to it, but it's okay if you don't, because we'll fill you in. So, where do you remember leaving off, Nick?
Battling for the souls of the city.
Battle the bronze or the brass knight,
Brass Paladin.
paladin, and we got him, right? Didn't we? He wasn't able to get away.
Yeah.
Like we captured the we got his sword and everything.
Widowmaker.
And we were moving on from there.
Yeah, preparing to move on. So
I got the Widowmaker.
So let's fill in the blanks for Nick and for everyone who's listening or watching. So the Brass Paladin is dead. You pick up Widowmaker. Civil is gone, but the small handful of Highwaymen 3 survive. What happens from there?
We have a bit of a burial. Well, not burial, but a bit of a ceremony for Sybil.
We burn him because that's the custom.
Did not burn.
we didn't burn him. We
didn't burn
loaded
him.
him up and
We
Oh,
burned.
that's right.
We burned the dead highwayman.
That's right. We burned everybody else.
Yeah.
We
Why'd you burn the Highwaymen?
Because they were.
There was something strange about
They
them
were
that
shells.
we haven't
What are they,
figured
shells?
out. Yeah.
Husks.
Husk.
Husks.
They were husk. We didn't know that.
That's right.
It always kind of. I don't know. I guess we never really had any experience with them.
Yeah.
So the Highwaymen who served alongside Civil were all husks, and they were fully clothed, in like the hoods and the mantle over their face, and you wouldn't know, but you would see just a weird glint in their eyes in the darkness, almost like an animal's eyes glint in the darkness, and discover that they are in fact husks. That's right. But sentient.
But yeah, sentient and are loyal to. It's been too long.
Simon the Small.
Simon the Small. I was gonna say Simon, but I was like,
Yeah.
Are they husky?
They are husky.
Smelling awfully husky.
Then we started our big journey to the Hanging Tree.
That's right. So the Hanging Tree was kind of the midway point to Poil, because if you recall, you stayed behind with Civil to cut off the Brass Paladin's pursuit, and Simon the Small and the rest of Bastion went forward in the van to go to Poil. So you're a few days behind. You're lagging behind, and now you've departed after defeating the Brass Paladin, him disappearing. You've struck out on this journey toward the Hanging Tree. So you make a pretty long, arduous journey And what happens when you get to the hanging tree?
There's somebody in the tree.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we find a dude, a stinky dude, named not Hank, Puck Huck.
Puck Huck.
Puck Huck. And we climbed up there to get him, basically, and he came with us for the rest of the journey.
What you learn about Puck?
Clovis's wishes.
At first, and then I came to the realization, because we all decided that we can't leave the living to the dead.
What did you discover about Puck Huck when he was there? Like, what did you talk about?
He's a talker.
He had no real idea of how he got there.
Yep, he wasn't sure what was going on.
He didn't know.
He had a dream.
Sounds familiar.
Lots of poo on the ground.
Yeah, there was a lot of
There was a lot of
A lot
poo
of extra
on the
poo
ground.
and bones all around the tree.
It's very strange.
There was a dream that happened. Sorry, everything.
Something was chasing him up a tree.
Yeah, the monkey was. Let's see.
And then he woke up and he was in the tree.
A monkey.
Right?
Yeah, a monkey chased him up the tree. Was it a flying monkey? He recalls a book. And then he is Aridane, we found out.
And he did ask, "Is this Galleon?"
Yeah.
And we were like, "Yep."
He said someone asked me if he was Aridane, and he says, "Yes, I am." And then this is when Clovis said, "Well, you probably shouldn't say that around people." And he goes, "Then I am not Aridane."
That is true. That is exactly.
Yeah. What was unusual about Puck?
He was very small in stature, and
He was super ugly.
Super ugly.
Super ugly.
Like mismatched eyes.
Mismatch eyes. That's what it was.
Yeah. He
He's
was
the
very
Tyrion Lannister of
very
the game
strange.
system.
Oh, the
looking.
blue mantle. The really, really pristine
Oh, yeah.
blue mantle around his neck.
Yeah, he was wearing
Like
kind
he-
of torn apart clothes like he'd been on the run, but he had like an unblemished, perfect, like Robin's
Yeah.
egg blue mantle around his shoulders.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. And then we all discussed whether we're going to bring him along or not. We went ahead and brought him with us.
And I think when you decided that, actually, that's if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, Pipistrella, but didn't you ensconce Widowmaker to
Yes.
Spillicent
Yes.
at the bonfire that night?
Yes. I got ensconced once we got to the caravan.
Yeah. So
We arrived with
that's right.
we got to the wagons, the circle of wagons.
Right outside the city walls.
Yeah. And then there was
That's outside of the city walls of Poil where you're supposed
Yeah.
to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get there at night.
got there at
see
night. I got ensconced with the craziest thing. And
You should probably read it for.
I'm
Nick, 'cause I don't
really-
think he doesn't know.
I'm
Like-
Well,
No one knew until last week.
Besides the fact that we both told you it was cursed.
I'm happy about it. But are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm. It's the star, like it.
The star.
It brings your damage threshold down.
Oh.
Yeah.
From the southernmost Goth Moran to the Emerald Kingdoms of Dunbrood, this blade has been held by kings, knights, and even peasants. But every person who has swung the Widowmaker ends up perishing in some gruesome manner. And caveat, my dooming is stabbed by my own knife, which makes it funny. So, said to have been forged from a fallen star, Widowmaker is black as pitch and nigh indestructible. With every blow it leaves painful splinters, which some of us have splinters, of a starborn metal in its victims. While the sword has ended many bloodlines, the Widowmaker ultimately betrays its wielder. So I'm gonna tell myself to not run with my sword, but I probably will. The effect: every time you deal damage to a foe, they temporarily reduce their damage threshold by -1 until the foe successfully binds wounds. Crit success: after a foe suffers damage with this weapon, and at your option, they are slain, but you gain 1 permanent chaos rank as a result. Critical failure: roll damage and multiply it by 3 as if you suffer it instead. Other limits: Widowmaker functions as a one-handed simple or martial melee weapon with a distance of engaged. Does 1d6 plus CB damage. is a blade type and has a 2 encumbrance. You cannot take advantage of its effects, crit success, or crit failure until it has been ensconced. I am cursed.
And you can't ensconce anything else, right? I thought that was
No, you can. So we talked a little bit about this last
That
week.
dual
This idea, like
ensconcing.
you can ensconce as many things as you want,
Oh, okay.
but a cursed blade cannot be given away until.
Cannot be unensconced.
Well, you don't ever unensconce anything. You can give it away and give it re-ensconced to somebody.
Oh,
So let's say you decide to pass Widowmaker between each other, but you can't do it because it's cursed. Cursed
yeah.
weapon can't be given to somebody else. Once you have it, you and the blade are one. You feel like a draw to it, even though you may know that like your dooming is leading toward your own death because of this weapon. You will not give it away. It is bound to you, and you are bound to it.
What if it's stolen from you? Or taken?
Oh,
Good question. What do you think happens if a cursed weapon gets stolen or taken from you?
I'll probably still be cursed.
You wouldn't know because that information is behind the screen and not in front of the screen. So
Interesting.
Yeah.
Don't steal my sword.
I don't think it's spoilers you have to worry about.
Pretty sure none of us want
Don't drop
that.
it, don't
Did
lose
you
it.
say we had a wagon too?
Yeah, in fact,
Yeah.
you have Sybil's wagon, which is called the Last Wagon, and that means the lot of you are you kind of come into the encampment like you arrive and you talk to people. So what happens when you're in the encampment? What do you learn about Poil?
We learned that the Husk are rampant. Who's the person who went and did the investigations? We spoke with her.
Oh, it was Gretel.
Gretel?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Gretel Fletcher. Yeah.
So Gretel went in, did some reconnaissance, and found out that basically the streets are full of Husk.
Bodies hanging on crucifixes.
Still,
Sighted the ivory ladies. The damned just wander the streets, but then they go dormant at night, pretty much.
they go dormant at night, and they're not in the palace.
Yeah, they avoid
The palace.
the manor home or
The threshold, they don't pass the big threshold.
Which
Right.
Then there's that big boulevard with the two like standing
which Pip
ladies.
thought maybe had something to do with her current salt thing.
Yeah.
Just munching on my lettuce.
Oh,
That's what
okay.
fell.
I thought it was.
Oh, is she
I
eating?
thought she was eating cords or something.
No.
Is she cleaning the floor?
She's cleaning the
Probably.
floor. I think
So
I
yeah,
thought-
you talk you get there and you start talking to folk, and you do discover after talking to Gretel, who kind of came forward and she said, "I've reconnoitered Poil and I found a stronghold where we can get into, that I think we can get into, but and they don't seem to pass through the gate, the threshold. However, the walls are collapsed on one side, and it seems that the damned may be in there." You also spoke to Simon the Small, who told you a little bit about the Ivory Lady. What did he tell you about the Ivory Lady? Do you recall?
Does anybody recall
It's a
that?
hill. The Ivory Lady Hill. There's like a big hill.
All of Poil is on a hill.
The Ivory
That's right.
Lady. Right, was the
She's-
one who tried to come and rescue this place, but she got crucified.
She was a Mercadian knight.
Okay.
Yeah, so she was a Mercadian knight, which immediately kind of set everybody's hackles on, right? Because the Red Death came because the Mercators killed. Well, I won't get into that. Sorry, the Red Death came because of the Mercators.
Right.
I won't.
Does everybody not know that story?
I don't.
I don't think anyone really does, even around
Okay.
the table.
Okay.
Tim, you may remember from previous games, but that's like
remember
it's a
previous
long time ago. Like they weren't even playing at that time.
It's
To be clear, this is lore that predates like when we were gaming in our 30s. Like it's old.
Nathan Brown played this character.
Yes. So,
None of you know
which
who
you
Nathan
don't,
Brown
none of
is.
you know. But nonetheless, the Red Death came because of the Mercators, and the dynasty ended. And the Ivory Lady was a Mercadian knight who lived in Poil. And Simon the Small said that the Ivory Lady and her people have been crucified in the city, are now just writhing around on massive crucifixes throughout the city. They don't know who crucified them, but they found her crown. That's the only way they're
that's
able to
right.
identify who she was. They found her crown.
Right.
And that's when Gretel brought it back to Simon.
It's another night, huh?
But they know, but Gretel said, we know of a stronghold. We need to get to that stronghold. That's how we can bring Bastion, the collection of trains, into the city. It's a safe way in. We just need people to go in a small pocket group. Because remember, Bastion consists of less than 15 people.
Right.
It can, so far, here are the people you know live they're within Bastion, including yourselves, and now Puck Huck. There's Alma the Apothecary, Beatrix the Bookbinder, Syl the Armsmaster is dead, Gretel the Fletcher, Harlan the Oxmaster, who you saw on the outskirts with his big Kaiser blade, the remaining 3 highwaymen, Puck Huck, who you met, Simon the Small, and Stall the Kettlesmith. Your numbers are scant and few, but every number counts. Every soul counts.
Right.
And as Puck Huck said, he said he's a cleaner, so he'll have some sort of use. But
I mean, a cleaner or
we'll find out. So we're actually going to do a small story jump. So Tim, while you were out, we talked about this a little bit before. We actually did the scenario where they broke into the stronghold,
right,
and cleaned it out. So what we're going to do is we're going to move the story forward by about 48 hours, and we're going to pick up actually inside this stronghold.
So when they cleaned up, did you try to repair the wall?
So that hasn't happened
Okay,
yet.
all right.
So to explain to the viewers, that happened in the Zweihander combat tutorial that is in this playlist. So you hopefully already watched it. If not, you can go back. Yeah, watch or listen to it. If not, you can go back.
If you're listening to this on Podcast Effect, I would recommend watching the combat video, because it does break down, because we did it for Paige, to break down how you use figures in Zweihander. We showed a lot of like advanced combat techniques and some fundamental ones too. But we had the map that's over here on the floor that we'll eventually put back here, but it's now your home base in Poil.
Okay.
So we pick up inside this stronghold. It's about a story and a half, which you're looking from it from the outside. It's completely surrounded by a 9-foot wall. Like, this is like a fortified manor in the middle of a city, and there are crenellations around the walls. They're not really like castle mantlets that you can hide behind with fire weapons. They're more decorative than anything else. But you know that to the eastern side of the walls, it leads into a very broad boulevard where there are a number of ruined manses. In fact, it looks like this entire area was pounded by catapult fire. Like, it is ruins all around, save for this stronghold here that you've come to. Outside of the surrounding walls, there is a stable here that adjoins the wall, and inside is a massive store horse that was clearly left behind, you guess. It was kind of starving, but it is here. There are also a few dead trees in the yard, and there are literally hundreds of bones that litter the mansion grounds. Like someone or something was collecting bones and spreading them all throughout the ground. So when you walk through, it's like water can go up upon bones upon bones upon bones. You can see along one side of the wall it's been collapsed inward, where the rock and stone, it was struck by something, probably a catapult stone or something like that, that's now half covered in like a mound of dirt and earth and grass. But when you look toward the manor, it's clear that this was meant to be heavily fortified. And outside of the manor, you actually discover what this place was once called.
Are there human bones?
Was it?
Are there human bones?
Human bones, animal bones, yes. This place is, you can see it's actually carved on the stone outside if you're coming off the boulevard near the fortified gates. It says Chateau Moreau, which means castle of the dark.
Castle of the Dark.
Yeah. When you're inside,
That's not ominous at all.
no. When you're inside this place is in disrepair. The stained glass windows that are here have been shattered in places. There's a number of rooms that kind of come off a primary hallway with a grand staircase that leads up to a second level. You've already pulled the 3 husks that are torchbearers that were inside here and burned them in the yards. In fact, there's actually a graveyard in the yard within the manor home, within the walls. But already, Simon the Small and the others have begun to collectively pick where they're going to stay and sleep in this very large manor home. You can really have your pick of the litter. There's so many rooms in this place. But the roaring of the hearths can be felt. The heat begins to spread within the cold stone walls of this place. And all throughout the hallways, there are these faded paintings, these tall paintings of this very regal-looking couple with dark olive skin. That clearly were some sort of aristocracy here. They must be They must be the Moreaus. Wouldn't be uncommon by any means either in Galeon, just to be clear. But there are remnants that the things they left behind when they either were killed or fled the city. This place has overgrown grass all throughout outside the manor, but the manor is it's a little wet and damp, but it's much better than the 7 wagons you have outside, which are just literally filling up the mansion manor grounds. There's far too many. You suspect you're going to have to do a lot of repairs to make this place livable. In fact, one thing that we're going to do in this game is, we probably won't mechanize it, but we're going to have a managing the estate sort of thing happening, where you gather supplies and you may have to sacrifice things that you have to ensure the place stays in part. The Manor Home. Yeah. So a Darkest Dungeon thing. The estate. We have to get some Heidemann. No, but we're gonna have we're gonna have that. So you'll have your home base. This is where the campaign formally starts. As you figure out how to live in the midst of this strange apocalypse, unknowing of your past, uncertain of your future. The bits and pieces continue to reveal themselves with every passing day. So you all are in the main hall. An old moldering banner that perhaps was once green and gold with brilliant colors has turned to brown and gray. The place kind of reeks a little bit like it hasn't been lived in for a while. There's some brushes and things like that on the stone. Muddy boot prints, bloody boot prints, where you've trafficked in and out. But the entirety of Bastion, as you've come to call your people, all of Bastion is pitched in. The remaining 13 that are here, not including the number. So you all collect together in the main hall. Just the 4 of you. Along with Puck Huck, a curious man who's sitting on a nearby table and he's already overturned and is stoking the fire. And a massive hearth that is where 2 stairs kind of rise behind it, casts this glowering orange warmth throughout the entirety of this hall. And that's where we begin.
I'd like to go tour the house. I want to look for my room.
I think we need to secure the building first. There's a giant hole in our defenses.
Pipistrella is looking at you extremely blankly when you say that.
How about
I'll just point the massive hole in the wall over there that you all used most likely to get in. Clear this place.
It's a hell of a lot more secure than 7 wagons.
I agree, but
at least you can look at one spot in the wall.
We'll have to secure that spot with guards at night and during the day until we can get it repaired.
Well,
We also need to police this place. Look at all those bones.
Yeah.
What the hell that is, but
Do you want to go scout for some materials? And these 2 can go scout for rooms?
you need rooms? Your pick of rooms. I mean, if you wish.
If you want to, I want to sleep comfortably.
I'll figure that out closer to bedtime.
Yeah, I'd probably just stay in whatever room I fall into.
I would like to stay in the one next to the room you fall into.
Okay, Pip. We're good.
Well, if you're worried about security, then
I
I would like it if you could hear me scream if someone comes in my room.
That makes sense. I get your point. Is it all one floor? Is there a basement? Is there crypt?
There's a second floor, where there are even more rooms. Like this place, you can literally define what you think your room will look like, and that's what it's going to look like for purposes of our story.
Okay.
Yeah. There seems to be an undercroft, but you're not sure how to get into it.
What's
The undercroft seem to have been stoned. It appears to have been.
Shut.
It seems to have been shut in mortar.
Okay.
An undercroft is it's like a basement, but
Oh,
something
Like Lara Croft.
like Lara Croft. Lara.
Like a crypt, or where
A
there would be a larder,
A tomb that you might raid.
a wine cellar, most likely. Those types of things. Would
It's very clear as you're kind of looking at it. Like it was clearly sealed up, perhaps during the rebellion.
Right.
And the mercators were brought low.
what time of day is it right now?
It's night.
Night.
Oh,
Yeah,
it
it's
is night.
evening. Yeah.
So I think we should figure out who's going to be security. I'll take a rest. It's been a long day. Figure out where we're gonna go. Pip needs to feel safe. I'll take first watch. And then tomorrow we should go scout for materials to fix this hole.
There's plenty of stone.
I mean, there's 9 other people that can share the burden of watching. I
agree.
We've had a long journey to get here, so
Speaking of first watch, do we know of any facilities to prepare breakfast?
Well, that's a good.
Only our Kansas City fans will know what that means.
It's a brunch place too. To be clear, just it's a brunch and a breakfast place without alcohol. That's the
They have it now.
Kansas City favorite. Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Where
I
are
know
you
they kind of have
talking
like a more. They kind of get that
First
modern
watch.
urban
First
kind of
watch.
design now. First watch in Kansas City, everywhere.
Yeah.
But
Interesting.
I'm from here, and
Okay.
I didn't even think of it.
Yeah. They're when we had it, it was their first week of having it and having alcohol, and it wasn't so good.
Yeah.
I imagine over time it'll get better, but
Yeah, no kidding. So it's clear that there are kitchens here. There are servants' quarters inside. Like the family Moreau clearly were people of money. The estate is large. You will not lack for any sort of accommodation you would find in here.
It's not the accommodations we need to worry about. It's the supplies.
Yeah, for now you've got enough supplies to survive for a while, but you haven't really accounted for it yet because you haven't spoken to really everybody in Bastion. I mean, you haven't really had an opportunity to do so yet.
Right.
You really came in from.
bowling alley, no pins.
Yeah.
Well, I think first thing in the morning we should start coming up with a plan with the rest of the people here.
Okay, fast forward morning.
Yeah, so we kind of pass. So the
Morning,
evening
Pip.
passes. So mark a day off if you're recovering from an injury, and you all recover to unhindered on your peril condition track. Or sorry, imperiled on your peril condition track because there's a giant gaping hole in the wall.
that's
Oh.
fair.
Yeah.
Truly fair.
Good morning, Pip.
Good morning.
You slept better, but uncertainty and bad dreams kind of plagued your evening. And you know now that it is daytime that the damned are not still.
I think we should get a group together to get this place safe.
Let's get with Simon and see if we can have a town meeting.
Town hall in the foyer.
You think I should get this looked at? And she looks at her shoulder. I've been trying to take care of it myself, but I don't know if I'm capable.
Oh, that's right.
She is seriously wounded.
We have an apothecary, right?
Tomas is seriously wounded.
Alma.
Well, I can help you.
Alma's here, right?
She is. In fact, she is outside in the yard. And although the manor's yard is large, it is literally clustered with the wagons, which makes it hard to navigate. Importantly, makes it hard to see anything that may be coming in. with all these wagons here. So you kind of wander through the wagons and you come to all of the apothecary's wagon, which you've been to before. As you come inside, there's herbs hanging from the ceiling where they're drying out. You can see Alma. She's a middle-aged woman. Her skin is darker. She wears kind of loosest-looking clothes. She has very unusual eyes, a very strange face. She is Siabran. She does not wear a mask. She's preparing something. Oh, good morning, she says, as she kind of looks out the window of the wagon. It's clear that she's anxious.
Morning.
Well, our Pip needs some help.
I can certainly attend to that. Tell me of your
Trouble
journey
healing
here.
herself.
She inquires as she's beginning to mend your wounds.
Oh, it was long. The walking was good, but it was uncomfortable. I feel both invigorated and exhausted.
She nods. What did you see back at the teeth? What happened?
Well,
yeah.
The night the bronze paladin attacked, and his husk and minions attacked also. We dispatched him and took his sword, and we lost Sybil, right?
Yes. We brought him back.
Yes, that was part of the arrangement with Simon.
Yes.
And as you know,
2 steps up the damage condition track.
2 steps?
2 steps, okay.
and as you know, we
Treated as well.
You also move 2 steps up.
Okay.
while I was recovering, these 3 cleared out the manse here, and now we need to organize because there's way too many wagons in here. There's a giant hole in our wall, and for some reason it looks like a dragon lived in here and ate bones and threw them all over the ground.
It's very unfortunate to hear about Sybil. I know that Simon had a special place in his heart for him.
Yeah, I think the highwaymen did too.
Yes.
Gretel, however, she says, a pregnant pause. I'm sure that she will not miss him.
Yeah, we had heard that directly from her.
What did the paladin say? Did he say anything?
Well, that's probably a lot my fault. I tend to run a little hot-tempered.
I was trying to ask him questions.
We disposed of him pretty quickly.
Yes, things escalated really quickly. She gives you a glance as if she's not happy about it, but, it's not like she's really pissed either.
I run a little hot in battle, and he said, "What are you going to do?" And I shot him in his face.
It's true.
Whatever reason the paladin had been pursuing Simon for so long as between the paladin and Simon, we are forsworn to protect him as he has protected us. So she'll mend you as well and move up 2 steps of the damage condition track. And
I'm lightly wounded.
she'll also move you. She'll also mend you as well, so where you're unharmed.
We're going to look to move as many folks as we can into the manse. If you feel more comfortable in this, just let us know, and we've got to move some of these wagons out of the way, though.
Admittedly,
We've got to be able to move.
betwixt the oxen and the wagons, there would be no escape for any of us if we were on foot, and we'd have to flee into the city. I don't know what to expect in this place, but I don't feel safe. That is for certain. Either in this wagon or even in the fort, even in the home. Not with that gaping hole in the wall. And then again, these animals, the wagons.
Well, we're gonna see if we'd ask Simon to get everyone together this morning. So after everyone breaks their fast, we're gonna have a town meeting. Bastion's first town meeting. Town hall, I guess, has.
Town hall. All right.
Spilla sounds has said town hall.
Town hall.
Very well
Makes
then.
more sense.
I will be certain to attend, although I don't know what help I can give, but I will be there to lend a voice in support of whatever you decide.
Your help is always very easy to spot. I'll look around the table. I'll look around at everybody.
Yeah, we need you there. You serve a really important purpose in this group.
I appreciate that. I would encourage you to speak to the others, though. I don't know how effective you will be in your persuasions, whatever your plans may be, unless you've spoken to everyone else. Everyone's voice and ear is important in this.
No, we figured doing it in the town hall manner would be the best, but are you saying we should try to sway votes our way before we have the meeting?
Bastion has been divided before. That is for certain. Everyone has their own opinion on things. We may feel one way about something, and other person may feel very differently. We all have our own experiences, of course.
I would think fixing the wall seems like an everybody choice, but if there's somebody that doesn't want that, then they can watch the wall all day.
Could be that someone wants to move on from here. Maybe this isn't a permanent solution.
I make no supposition for anyone's intentions or opinions without speaking with them.
Maybe we should go start talking to the other folks.
I fucking hate this.
Pip,
Can't
you
we
want to go
just-
talk to people?
Is there just a way to shoot our way out of this?
Well,
Pip and I'll go start chatting people up.
Yeah, I'll go watch the wall.
You go watch the hole.
I don't claim to be in charge of anything until we start collecting taxes.
You scoff at the hole. We'll go start talking to people.
Maybe we can, yeah.
So leading up to this manse, was there like a village around? Like,
It's literally on the edge of a fortified city. A city that's been decimated by war.
okay.
The walls are broken.
This is the only place that you've seen that seems to be intact, but you haven't been deeper into the city. It's the place that was closest and most visible to where the wagon stopped outside the foot of the city.
Well, you said the gate was broken, not the walls.
The whole time that we're wandering around
main
and
walls.
talking to people, and
I'll join you as well.
right, I would like to see if I can just notice if her hunch is right and that maybe there's something to do with these bones as to why the husks are not coming here. Just over time, just observing and seeing what would be different about any other place, to see if we can figure it out and maybe even replicate it.
Yeah, maybe so.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
Yeah.
Who do you want to visit next? Who's your first person you want to talk to today?
Probably Simon, I would say. Right?
Well,
Is Puck with us right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Puck.
Oh, well, hello.
You wanna go chat some people up, or do you wanna hang out with Clovis and watch the whole?
Well, admittedly, I am rather all new to this. I don't really know anyone among your folk. I think it would be good for me to go with you at least to introduce myself.
All right. Let's do it. Let's go start talking. I think we're gonna go talk to
Simon?
You all have a number of NPC cards.
Yeah. We just
You have a
talked to
short list of
Alma.
people.
I have 0. Because
Civil the Arms Master.
So so who do you have so far on your
Deceased.
cards?
I've just got
Yes.
Alma.
So let's start with Nick. Who do you have?
Civil the Arms Master is dead.
He is dead. Anyone else?
Simon Small.
Simon the Small, yeah.
Simon. Oh, Simon.
Who else?
I don't have any.
So we have Gretel.
Yep, Gretel the Fletcher. Who has
but
that card?
I don't have that card.
I'll make a card
Is-
for her.
Beatrix the bookbinder, is that a person?
Yep.
She's in our.
For you.
She's in the group.
Help
You have
with-
Beatrix. Who else do you have? Who has Alma?
I have Alma.
Okay.
This
Harlan
is
the
not mine. I
Oxmaster.
don't know how this.
Who does it say?
Beatrix? I don't know who this person is.
I'll hold Beatrix.
That one's yours too.
Beatrice. I'll hold Beatrice. Beatrix.
We have Harlan the Oxmaster.
Oh yeah, Harlan.
Who has Simon the Small?
I do.
Who has Stall the Kettlesmith?
Not me.
Anyone? Okay. So I'm writing down on each of these cards the NPC. These are literally the people that live in Bastion, all of them. Every single person, save for the Highwaymen and the Bushwhackers. They were not their names will not be important to the story. To your story, that is.
But these are people we can go talk to.
These are the only people in
Yeah.
Bastion, save for yourselves.
Okay.
The 3 Bushwhackers and who serve Harlan the Oxmaster, and the 3 remaining Highwaymen who once served civil. Their names are not important for this story.
There's Stormhorse, but we don't know its name because it can't talk.
It's Mr. Ed.
His name is Mr. The non-talking horse.
No, it's you misunderstood me. It's Mistred.
Dread.
Mistred, or Miss Dread, if you nasty.
So we've got
You
Alma,
nasty.
Beatrix, Stahl, Harlan. Who do you have?
Gretel.
Gretel.
Fletcher.
My recommendation, by the way, just to make things fair, is to share the load. Because
You have 2.
I got 2.
your relationships with these people will be important to your endeavors here.
Do you want Stahl? The Kettlesmith? Or do you want Beatrix the bookbinder?
I'll take it if you don't want it.
We're not running with books. Give me the
Oxmaster?
Oxmaster. That's it. I'm done then.
I'll take one.
You want bookbinder?
Sure.
Okay. So we've got
Harlan and I go way back.
Alma, Beatrix, Stahl, Harlan, Gretel, Simon. That's all I've got.
So everyone has 2?
I have 1.
Harlan and I are going to go it the same way.
I have 1.
We're like-minded men. Fix the wall. Clean the keep. Get
Maybe.
these damn things out of here.
Maybe.
Who am I missing? My note. I have to take notes because my brain doesn't work. Alma, Beatrix, Stahl, Harlan, Gretel, Simon.
He likes drawing.
Who do you have?
Harlan.
That's all you got?
Stall.
Harlan,
Did you say
Stahl.
that?
I've
Stall the Kettlesmith?
My dooming is those you trust will kill you. I trust no one.
You can't trust no one!
Can't
Right.
You can't
them.
trust the government!
You
You,
done
can't
can't
trust... I can't even
trust
trust myself!
I don't even trust myself.
I want to go talk to Beatrix next.
Okay. So, assuming that Toma and Pipistrella and Aspillicent all go to speak to who?
Beatrix.
Beatrix, okay.
Beatrix.
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 So, you actually find her inside Chateau Moreau. Chateau Moreau. Or just the Chateau, we can call it. She's actually in what looks like the remnants of a library. It's really just kind of a pocket room off the back of what appears to have been a reception room. It's through a sliding door in one of the shelves. It's hidden, and it's this very narrow kind of room. No, maybe just a little bit, just about twice as wide as this table, and it's very, very long. And there are shelves that run kind of wall to wall down this long hallway, and you can see her. She's this very young, pale-skinned woman with dark black tresses, like black as midnight. It's almost blue, and perhaps it's because she's also wearing these long blue robes. One of the sleeves of her robes completely covers one of her hands, whereas the other is kind of cropped at her wrist. Her chin has been tattooed right here. She seems youthful. She's also wearing what looks like a kind of a copper circlet that goes around her head. It looks like it's made of like copper leaves underneath her hair.
She's one of them educated types.
Hi, Beatrix. How are you?
Oh.
It's one of them brave types.
She seems alarmed. She kind of leaps, like almost jumping out of her own clothes. Like, oh my good.
Oh.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even see you there. I barely heard you even come in.
Well, perhaps we'll snap our fingers when we come in from now on.
She smiles. She kind of takes a couple steps back. She's kind of nervous. She places one of the books kind of daintily back into the shelf and kind of wipes her hand on the sleeve of her arm and kind of folds her hands together and among her robes like such. You can see her in the candlelight, and she would be considered what we call traditionally attractive. She'd be traditionally attractive, but very youthful. You would place her maybe in her like mid-20s.
Any good reading material here? As I survey the room with the amount of books.
Well, it seems that the family Moreau left behind quite a few novels. Books of educational nature, I suppose. I have not had an opportunity, obviously, to go through them all. There are so many. She kind of motions her hand. You can see this hall probably goes about 30 feet deep on either side of this hall, and both are floor to ceiling filled with books and shelves. It looks like this place is completely unmolested, like it's carefully hidden inside the chateau.
Yeah, Pipistrella will immediately start pulling some down and opening them. Like respecting them, but not taking care as to any organizational pattern or anything like that. Like she'll take them down, look at it, start to read through it, and put it back in a different place. And
one is a book of flora and fauna written in a tongue that you don't read, but it is illuminated in the sense that monks have drawn what's inside of it. It's illustrative. Another one is filled with words in the language of Ald. There are hundreds of books, hundreds. She says, "You know what's most curious about this collection?"
What's that?
She kind of pulls she's like those little candelabras, like a burning candle on a tin, like thing you put in a ringlet. She kind of picks it up and she kind of urges you to walk with her. And her footfalls are very, very soft, like perhaps she's wearing slippers beneath this long blue dress that's tattered along the bottom. And she says, "All of these books have been arranged by color of the spine." Curious, nay?
I mean, I'm not much for book reading. I'm more of a ledgers kind of person, but that is a very strange way to organize.
It's an interesting way to organize your books.
I didn't notice.
It's almost as if they didn't perhaps actually read them, but kept them for the aesthetic value or a show of wealth.
If they were for a show of wealth, it would have been in the main hall. She pulled another book that has been, the outside of it has been hammer pressed with tin plates on it. That's been embossed on the front with tin plates. This one has 3 dragons swirling one another. I don't think these were meant for display. I think that Master Moreau, whoever the lord was of this house, or perhaps even his lady wife, or perhaps a younger one among them, like there was some value to them. Maybe sentimental, maybe to your point they weren't read, but they are curiously arranged on these shelves as such. Frankly, I don't even know where to begin. Pick a color, and that's where I suppose you'd begin to catalog what's here. I have found no catalog.
That's very interesting as she places like a brown one in the blue section.
Yeah.
She's enthusiastically responding to things she's saying, but to those that know her, she's feigning interest completely.
Yeah. She pulls the book off the shelf and opens it and begins reading it as she's walking back down the hall to place it back where it goes. She's just kind of reading the words of it to be polite. Yeah. And she clasps it closed and puts it back to where it was.
Oh, silly me.
Aspillicent just kind of like takes her little finger and just kind of runs against it and just admires the colors, but also touches them all.
Some of these papers, I mean, they date back to 103rd age. I mean, some of these books are over 120 years old.
120, you say? Like, that's really old for this part of the world.
I think if my hunch is correct, I'm sure some of these books date all the way back to the beginning of the Third Age, when the Makeda dynasty began.
Yes, the Mercators. Yes. Fascinating.
Have you found any particular book of interest or out of the ordinary?
Oh, goodness, no. I've been drafting a catalog of what titles there are on the spines. Fortunately, it appears they've been authored by a number of different scholars. Some are a list of names, some are of a more priestly bent, some are even covenant prayer books.
Not to change the subject, but it seems like you're settling in. So
Well, I am rather curious, I suppose. I spent my younger years as a bookbinder, as an apprentice. Being able to see so many volumes in one place that date over so many decades is just utterly fascinating to me.
So, we do have a town meeting? I don't know if town's the right word, perhaps village.
Town hall.
Town
We're gonna have a town
perhaps
hall.
village or holt might be a better use of the word.
We're gonna have a
Town is
fireside
generous.
chat.
The fireside chat, you say?
We're gonna have a fireside chat.
That's what we're calling it. It's the fireside chat now.
So
There is a very large hearth down in the main hall that's flanked by those two large stairwells, and there's enough chairs to sit in them. That's where we'll have it. We'll call it the fireside chat.
we've come a calling to you to just gauge your opinion regarding the future of Bastion. Are we to stay here in this chateau? Are we to move on? I mean,
Should we repair this place?
if we are to move on, you'd be welcome to take as many books as you'd like, obviously. But
Oh goodness.
it's just something to think about, you know. If we're moving on to this fireside chat, as we're calling it, think about what you might, how you might vote, because everyone around here should have equal say, I think.
Well, I see. Well, Master Simon, I have been his student for some time now. I will probably go whatever direction Simon wants to go.
If you had to vote now, though, which way would you vote?
I'm rather intrigued by all these books, and not all of them would fit into the wagon. For now, I suppose to stay as long as we possibly can, I think.
Yeah, I mean, there's like so much to be learned here. There's,
Indeed,
yeah.
she says, her eyes lightening.
All right.
Well, if you find any ledgers, let me know. I could probably look it over for you.
Oh, certainly, I do appreciate it. Well,
So we're gonna have a fireside chat. Will you be okay to attend?
of course, I will be there this evening.
Excellent.
I would not miss it.
Excellent. Let's you guys want to go and talk to?
She would not miss it for a room full of books.
We'll leave you to it then.
Of course. Who has Beatrix's card?
I do.
Who wants to manage that card? Who among here feels their character has an affinity with her? Whoever feels they may have an affinity with her should probably manage the card.
I know she was trying to impress her, but I don't know about an affinity. And very obviously not impressing her.
I like Beatrix.
Who here can read?
Well, my name's
character-
Paige Turner.
Everyone can read.
Well, but I mean,
I know.
If you have education, you can research.
Research.
Yeah,
Right.
you can all read and write. If you have education, you can research.
Right.
I don't think. No, I do not have education.
I do not have education.
Come on, doesn't spend his free time reading novels.
So, if you, as an example, if you are an auspix, you don't have education. You don't put value in written liturgy. You value the stories, the apocrypha that's passed among the congregation.
What do you think?
You're more folklore heavy, I guess you could say.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Wouldn't a pioneer want to research things and
You don't have education, do you?
no?
No.
And the answer is for you, no.
You learn by trial and error.
It's like a
Yeah, I
fourth
guess
grader
that's
in a library.
Uh,
Like they can
chip,
read,
chip.
but like they can't.
Silver and gold.
I don't.
Yeah.
That's how I test everything. How'd you know?
Pickaxe, silver and gold test. Big hole.
I think we should go talk to Stahl next.
Alright.
Stall. Yes.
Let's go find Stahl.
Stall. He
She's right on your chair.
is outside.
Is he outside?
Where it's raining during the day. You find Stall the kettlesmith, a middle-aged man with hair kissed by fire.
Hi, Stahl. What are you doing out here?
He's outside of the stables. Well, I've been standing in front of the stables and intended to go in to see if the hearth and the hammer was worth anything in there for more than just shoeing horses. But as you can tell, that old nag right there is standing right in my way.
Oh. Oh, okay. Do you need someone to stable that nap?
He kind of looks toward the sky as you hear a bell somewhere in the city.
Are they having service?
Is it coming from?
I thought you said there were no gods here.
I'm not here. I'm
Oh
protecting
yeah,
the
yeah.
hole because
I
nobody
thought
else.
you said there were no
There's
gods.
nobody guarding the,
Yeah.
the one thing that can kill
Law
us.
kind of shrugs confusedly. This is ominous, to be certain.
Where's
The
it?
city seemed deserted to me, but someone wants to make themselves known.
The bells don't seem to be coming in any rhyme or reason either. It's the first time they've struck today since the sun has risen.
Do they strike every day?
We've only been here for a day.
I knew that. I was testing you.
What
Good.
time?
Good memory.
What time you reckon it is right now?
Hell's bells, 11? 10?
That is an odd time to ring a
All I
bell.
know is I got up and my piss was burning. So I
Oh.
got up and did my business. I don't keep no time around here.
It's daytime. All right.
Okay.
Anyway,
We're gonna take note of the bells happening roughly late morning.
so I suppose we can help you with this beast here. While we're at it, I just thought we'd come around and call in because thinking about the fireside chat coming up tonight.
Fireside chat, huh?
Well, hey, you know, it's one of those things. We all get together. Everyone should have a say. Just thought,
But a saying what?
what's
have
what's
demands.
what's to come? Are we to stay here? Are we to move on? That sort of thing.
There's a big hole we gotta take care of, or not take care of.
I mean, what do you think of these digs? Do you think we should stick around or move on? Are the bells a little too unnerving for you?
He looks around and says, that hole was made by whatever, and whatever came in here spread these bones so thick in this place, you can barely walk without tripping over the dead.
Well,
What do I think about this place? Come on, man.
I,
This whole place is cursed.
I suppose we can attend to the bones.
Yes, they can be buried. They can be moved.
What do you suspect happened?
Hell's if I know. I just know that this whole damn place is cursed, and I didn't agree to come here in the first place with Simon. I told him that we shouldn't have came, that this was a fool's errand, and now look what we found. The ivory lady dead and riding on a damn stick in the middle of the streets.
Yes, that is something that I would feel obligated to address.
You feel as if you've known this man your entire life. His mercurial and fiery temperament like almost kind of unlocks some hidden memory within. Stahl the kettlesmith is a man who is constantly aggravated, even when things are at peace.
Would you be okay coming to the fireside chat tonight? Voicing your opinion?
Maybe we don't want him there.
Tell Simon the Small what I think. Damn right I'm gonna be there.
All right.
Which way you all leaning?
I'd like to post up here a while, figure out our next move.
I think this place is a heap, but a little elbow grease, we can make it livable, I suppose. If we want to put in the effort. That's it.
Suppose that's the first question. You ain't gonna get much done unless you got fire, though. And that damn stable. Get on out of here, Nag! Come on! He's clapping his hands at this massive storm horse.
I will assist him in his endeavor.
You attempt to coax the horse out of the way.
Yeah, I have no skill, but I will help.
It's going to be hard because
All
it's a
right.
storm horse.
Alright, a hard handle animal. That's flip to fail for me, fellowship. So that's going to be a 54% chance to succeed, flip to fail. And I rolled a 37, which turned to a 73.
You get an assist to die from him. My apologies.
Oh, okay. That's still a 63. Yep.
Okay. Come on now, get! The horse doesn't seem to budge.
That's not how you treat. That's not how you treat a horse.
Oh, I heard these storm horses, they don't hardly listen to anyone but their owner. You want to eat, don't you? So I looked at the thing.
All you're doing
It
is
snorts. You can feel the wet heat from its
all you're
from its
doing
nose.
is making it worse.
Aspillicent kind of pushes everyone back and tries to
By all
approach the
means.
horse.
Have at it then.
And I take my clawed hand and I try to place it on the snoot
Okay.
of the horse.
Make
and
a
just
hard
very calm.
animal handling test. Ba-ba-bum.
Dun dun dun. 41% minus 20, 21.
So, also, if you don't have it trained, it's flip to fail.
You don't have a skill rate.
Or skill, that's what
Why are you at
thank
minus 20%?
Hard.
Hard.
Oh, yeah.
You have a skill rank in
No. So I got a 76, so a 67.
76. It's
No,
always the worst.
70,
to flip.
76.
Yeah. It's always flip to fail. It's always worse results when you flip to fail.
Got it.
Yeah. So you did not succeed.
Yeah, I did.
Okay. Yeah, the horse is just getting more aggravated at this point.
Have any of you ever seen a horse?
I've seen a horse, I've never seen a storm horse.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
Yes.
Yes.
I can ride.
Okay. Well,
I'm
It's
usually
really-
not the one that breaks it.
it's raining, and it's outside of the stable, and it knows what a stable is because storm horses are almost as smart as people. And she goes to where the stable is and opens the door, and goes.
There's
You walk into the
spells again.
stable and you whistle for it, and the horse begins to slowly crunch, crunch, crunch. All the bones beneath of its heavy footfalls of these old rusted horseshoes. This massive beast lumbers into the stable, and with that, Stall slams the door shut. This stable looks more like almost like a carriage house. Like it's meant to, like a carriage would fit inside here. There's stables inside of it, but the horse is now inside of it too, behind a locked iron gate. They're like barred gate, not like a big stable door. It's literally this carriage house is fashioned of stone into the wall, and not very far from where you can see Clovis along the wall, watching out the city as the fog rises from the rain.
Pipistrella instinctively knows where to go for the feed.
I was just going to ask that.
Changes out the water. It's almost as if she spent her entire life in a stable.
You have skill rank in animal handling.
Yes.
Handling and weather. That's good. All right. So you have soothed the savage beast. Quest finished. Quest complete. Mark your quest log. One of you will be able, to, if you wish, this is something that you could potentially do. And so one thing that I'm thinking that may be wise for us would be to track the chateau, like the going-ons of the chateau, things that you could potentially do, such as if someone wants to try to tame the storm horse to use for their own, that could be something you potentially do.
I'm already like crazy note
I
taking.
suggest it's a shared sheet.
Oh, okay.
So that we all can see it, because everyone's going to have their own wants and needs, yourselves, that you'll want out of this place. As an example, if Stahl the Kettlesmith has a working forge, he can make weapons and improve weapons.
Right. Okay.
He can forge arrows, bolts, swords, armor, depending on the material that you have, that you find.
Do we want to have like a main sheet that we all can grab from in the center of the table?
Could be, or it could be something we could review at the beginning of the game. It could, however you all want to handle it.
I'll take, if you want me to add notes to the doohickey, I'll add notes
Do
here.
you have a piece of paper or something that we could use?
No.
Okay.
I'll put it in my book. This is my official Zweihander book. There's nothing else
Okay.
in here.
Yeah. So maybe that's the place where we'll kind of track things. And I'll be sure to notate when these opportunities arise.
Okay.
So that you'll be able to be like, oh yeah, we could potentially do this with the chateau. We could improve our armor. We could develop whetstones. We could create our own food. We can repair wagons. We can stable horses. We can tame horses. We can do a myriad of things while you're here. As long as you're here, as long as you will get everyone to agree to stay here in the city.
I got the chateau log.
That'll be nice. So all our weapons will be manor forged.
Yeah. And if you
Potentially
guys
castle
wanna...
forge your weapons, that's right.
Okay. Let's so Stahl, you're good with the fireside chat tonight?
I'll be there.
Alright.
It says.
Thanks, Stahl.
Is that better? Huh? As she like places her arm on his shoulder.
Yeah,
Her hand on his shoulder.
That'll work.
Did you hear those bells again?
No?
Okay. Let's go talk to Harlan.
The Oxmaster. Well, you find Harlan not far from here, in fact. A younger person with yellow hair and a vicious scar hoof print over his face. He's actually on the wall with Clovis. He's the one who has, like, that papier-mâché mask over his face to make it look like his flesh.
We're good here. Harlan and I go way back. We'll talk it out.
So you've got him taken care of for the fireside chat
Fireside
tonight?
chat tonight, evening. Discuss filling this in. Good idea?
I think that'd be good. We can't keep running.
Great. We've got to at least build up a little bit.
We've been on the run for a long time.
And we need walls.
Walls will be good. Walls that don't move.
See, Harlan and I are good.
Deal. Fireside chat. It's a date.
He nods.
Let's go talk to Gretel.
She is actually inside. You head back inside the chateau. Accustomed to calling it what it is.
The chateau.
She is actually on the second floor in the hallway. She's kind of looking around at the different rooms, kind of opening each. She has a very striking silver eyes. This hallway seems to be very well lit from a stained glass window that illuminates the entirety of the hallway, where there are doors that run alongside each of the stone walls. A number of rooms, in fact.
Hey there, Gretel. Find a place to hang your hat?
This place is like a labyrinth. The entirety of it. I'm just trying to find the place that's most defensible. The room closest to the exit.
Smart. We're planning on having a fireside chat tonight where we can discuss things like that, where we need to be, what we need to do. If you need need a space near an exit to be comfortable, we can discuss that tonight in the fireside chat. Are you interested in joining?
I wouldn't miss the chat. I'll certainly be there, but I don't know for what reason we've gathered.
Well, we're gathering to discuss what our next move is. Do we fix this place up and make it a safe place for us until we decide what to do in the future, or do we leave?
She
We
kind
just
of
need to all be on the same page.
She runs her hair through her undercut, where there's just a shock of red hair over the top of where it's been shaved beneath. And she says, "We'd come here originally. Master Simon said that we would find the Ivory Lady, a Mercadian knight who would take us in and give us shelter. This is the place that I found, remember? The only place I could see on the outskirts of the city. The way I see it, if the Ivory Lady is dead, then what good does Poyle do us?"
We will find out.
That's something we can talk about tonight together as a group, because we all only have each other at this point.
I have to admit, I am on the wall, as they say, about this decision. It seems with the Paladin dead, that Simon's life was no longer in danger. We could get back into the wagons. We could head west, to Ghent.
That's something we can discuss at the fireside chat tonight and see what other people think. Because we can't split up at this point.
We came here because all of Bastion was in danger, as long as the Paladin was alive. With him dead, and no Ivory Lady. Well, I don't know. This place is here. We are here, after all. There is, I suppose, some comfort in knowing that we don't have to continue running any longer. I don't know. I'm on the wall about it.
Alright. Would you like to join us with your opinions tonight? So we all can listen to your very valid opinions?
Well, I wouldn't vote one way or for another right now. I don't have any other reason to believe otherwise, unless you have something else to offer. Something I haven't thought about.
Well, maybe it'll come up during the meeting.
Well, she seems taken a bit back. Maybe.
We all have different things to offer each other, and so I think tonight is a very good reason for us to get together, find out what everyone's opinions are, figure out a plan, and then maybe it would solidify your feelings one way or the other.
Sure, she says. I'll be there.
Lovely. Thank you, Gretel.
What do you two make of it? I think I'm not quite sure either. There's merits to both staying and going.
There's pros and cons of each, I think. But right now, we don't know what the next move is past here, so I feel like if we were to stay here a little bit, make it safe, we can get grounded, figure out what we need to do next with a better plan moving forward. We can have weapons made here. We have some walls that are, granted we have a hole in a wall, but we have just a structure here we can work with to better ourselves, heal ourselves, prepare ourselves if we decide to move on. Because right now, all we've got is all we've got. Who knows what's out there? Obviously, there's a lot of husks walking around.
Yeah, you make a good point. Pipistrel is going to look around and see if there's any crows or ravens or anything along the walls or flying above.
You look outside and there's no immediate signs in the sky, save for a storm. Birds don't fly during the rain like this. They take shelter in the trees, beneath the eaves of buildings. If you were to try to prognosticate, you would need to cast a spell.
Prognosticate.
Are you looking for omens?
Oh, no.
Looking for like birds hovering over things.
She's specifically looking for crows or corvids of any kind.
You did hear some making a bit of a racket inside the carriage house.
Okay. So she says, I'll be right back. And she kind of skips off, quickly, but not like running. And she goes to, where'd you say it was again?
In the carriage house.
Yeah, she goes inside the carriage house and she says, hello, is anyone in here? As she's going to use her professional trait, which is just like the rat catcher, but it works with corvids.
Yeah. So if we're hearing this from the perspective of Stahl, the kettlesmith, who's now inside the carriage house, all he's hearing is the birds croak. Whereas the bird says, "Look at you! Look what the custodian drug in."
Hi, what's your name?
My name is Frank.
Hey, Frank.
What's your name? Franklin, he says. Franklin.
Hey, Franklin. My name's Pipistrella.
Meanwhile, anybody who's watching this is hearing Pipistrella speak in all, whereas the birds are just crowing and cawing together. Why'd you come to this damned place?
Well, we thought it would be a place that'd be safe for us, and I was wondering if I could ask you a couple questions, and if I get the answer to these questions, I could possibly find a way to get something for you in return.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
You know, it's been slim pickings around here. Not much crawling about during the dark. Most of the animals we pick clean. Those that come out of the undercroft. What is it you're willing to offer?
Oh, well, let me look and see what I have real quick. You know, I wonder if my friend has some blueberries.
You want to spend a fortune point to edit the situation?
Yes, I would. Actually, no, yes, thank you. I forgot. I keep forgetting about that. Actually, she'll just reach into her pocket, and yes, she will pull out some fresh blueberries and say,
Hey, you want to give Frankie a taste before we have this little conversation of yours?
"Oh, sure." And she'll toss
He
that up
snaps
in the air.
out of it. You all can hear the crows inside. You're inside on the wall where you're at. You hear the crows cawing and barking inside the stable.
What the hell is that?
It's Frank.
Lynch.
All right. So you got the blueberries. All right. So you got the goods.
Franklin.
What do you
Don't call
want?
me Frank.
Frank.
Only my mom calls me Frank.
Oh, Frankie.
Well, you know, being of my nature, I'm limited to what's on the ground, and I can only see so high up above. I was wondering if you could just do a quick pass over this city, once it stops raining, of course, and just kind of let me know what's happening, what's going on.
What do you mean city? What the hell's a city?
See this place where human beings roost, where us people roost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, right now there's some out there who are dangerous to us, much like an eagle is to a crow.
Oh yeah. That's why we stick around in here in the dark. Yeah, right, boys.
Yeah. So to someone like myself who wouldn't know any better, like say for instance my friend, and she points over to where Toma is standing. He may not be able to tell immediately the difference between like an eagle or even a crow such as yourself and a blue jay, but I can. And so I was wondering if you could help us just kind of figure out how many of these dangerous people are around and where they frequent.
You know,
That way we can be safe.
he raises his claws. I got these 6 here and 2 wings, so I can't really count more than that.
Well, if you could just tell me anything, really.
What do you want me to tell you? If it's anything.
Anything.
You want to try to convince him of what you want to do, you'll need
Yeah.
to roll a handle animal test.
Okay.
This will be routine, though, for you.
Okay, routine. An animal trained fellowship for 9. I mean, skill rank, not so. What's you said?
Routine, yes.
69.
Nice.
It's a 71. I think if you guys don't mind, I'd like to
Do it.
reroll that as well.
Do it to it.
All right. Okay. Here we go.
And a 46 will do it.
Nice. All right. When the rain lifts, me and the boys, we'll go on tour of this miserable little place and bring back something for you.
Okay.
Providing you can give us them blueberries you got there.
They'll be right here for you.
All right. I appreciate that, friend.
Yeah, you're welcome. And feel free to, caw, and I'll stick out my arm.
Forget about it. You come to me.
All right.
These
When the rain
Corvid-
lifts, I'll take my gander about, and you can come back and talk to me. Okay?
All right.
Corvids
All right.
of New York.
Franklin, right?
That's right.
Okay. I will hold these out for you, Franklin.
He nods. Meanwhile, inside the Franklin's now an NPC. He's Franklin the New York Crow.
the Corvids of NY is what I put down in my notes. Seems like you guys are all. Hey.
Franklin the Corvid. There you
Franklin
go.
the Corvid.
Franklin the Raven. You're the Raven.
Yeah, I think the Ravens.
You know what he says?
Nevermore.
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 So there you go. There's your NPC
No,
card.
he says anything.
He says anything, nevermore. So back inside, you
Tell
were
me anything.
you were
Anything.
speaking with Gretel.
Yes. Gretel.
Yeah, and this was when Pipistrella just ran off.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You said skip though.
Yeah.
At this point, I have no opinion one way or another.
would you be willing to sit in and listen and give your feedback at the fireside chat tonight?
As of right now, I don't really feel any different than I don't think I'll feel different from an hour from now than I do right now.
That's okay. You could still join us. We'd like you to at least be there to hear what other people have to say.
She nods. Very well.
Well, we're gonna go talk to Simon. We'll see you at the fireside chat.
You find Simon near the hearth. He is bandaged from head to toe with loose clothes around the bandages. He wears a copper mask that resembles the face of a child. If you imagine a kingdom of heaven, the leper king, like he's the man is clearly leprous. One of his appendages is completely bandaged up. His fingers are bandaged as well with a few missing fingers. And he walks with a gait. At first, you think he's perhaps coughing because of the smoke that's coming in from the hearth that he's stoking, but no, it's just his illness.
Hey, Simon.
It's nearing afternoon already. Can you believe that we've been able to stay in one place without having to worry about the damned at our heels?
Feels good. That's kind of why we wanted to come talk to you.
Yes.
I think that we all want to just discuss what the next step is. So would you be interested in talking to us tonight with the whole crew of people?
Oh, yes, the fireside chat. Of course.
So the word's getting around.
Well,
We talked to him last night about it.
Oh yeah, that's right.
tis It is our way. He kind of leans in. You can see you can feel a soft smile kind of across his face as the bandages move, and even though it's beneath the mask, and he says, "Espillicent, remember, it is our way." And he extends a hand and he kind of places a hexagonal. He places a token into your hand with a hole in the center of it.
Oh, thank you. What is this for?
He reaches into his pouch and hands each of you one as well and says, "The scales always decide our decision. Bastion is made up of many people, many different ideals. No one voice carries more weight than the others. When it is time for us to make a decision, we shall place the coin in the scale, whichever is the direction we decide, to stay or to go."
Okay. Should we do that tonight?
At the end of the fireside chat, after you have pled your case, these people, they look to you for guidance. You have brought an end to our great flight across all of Galleon. The paladin has been dispatched. You have brought back his sword. This carries weight with the people of Bastion. Some may want to leave. Some may want to stay. But the majority rules. Always. We are bound together. That is the promise we have made one another. We will not abandon each other. But it doesn't necessarily mean that we won't have our own vote. Everyone in Bastion has their vote. You will cast your token into the scale to decide. Every choice in this life boils down to two paths. All of them. The scales have served us for winters now. It is our way, he reassures you, Toma. And then you kind of remember going through this at some point in the past. You just don't remember over what.
It just seems like sometimes there's a more nuanced approach.
Yes. Balos is in the details, as they say. The devil will always find its way. But these people, they are open to have their minds changed, as we all are, as evidence is brought forward, as we put forth our opinions. The fireside chat is not necessarily meant to report up with an eye to make a decision. No. It is a ritual where we all come together and then we cast our lot with what direction we shall go on the scales. I would urge you to speak to the people of Bastion, to understand their hearts, their concerns, their fears, their needs and wants.
So that leads us to you. What are your fears, your wants, your needs?
He crosses his arms. I have been shepherd to Bastion for a long time now. At first it was to protect Gretel, and then our numbers grew over time, and you have now brought another among us, this Puck fellow. I lament the death of Sybil. Sybil was my oldest friend, but he was not well liked by everyone. Regardless, we have always had each other's backs, despite whatever misgivings and rifts that existed between us. I am thankful for what you have done. In time, we will speak more of the Paladin. That story is not yet ended. For now, it is nice to be here, but I cannot help but wonder what is west. I cannot help but wonder is in the city of Ghent. I must admit, I am torn. Some would seek to stay here. It We have been on the road for so many seasons. I have a feeling that there's more to learn here. I wonder what of the Maidens of Pain, those who serve the Ivory Lady, what fate had befallen them. I don't think we're the only people in this city. That is for certain. If there are others who are still alive, our numbers will only be bolstered by our company will be bolstered by their numbers. Whatever we decide, if we go west, we can seek answers west, but we will be on the run again. If we stay, I think we should look after the Ivory Ladies' Abbey and seek out the Maidens of Pain. I have yet to come to a decision. I'm hoping to think on this and to be persuaded by the time the fire rises and the sun sets.
Well, thank you for your information.
Forgive me. I need to lay down.
Please do. We're gonna go let Clovis know of what we learned.
Don't forget the newcomer. He too has been given the token.
Puck.
Puck.
Puck just...
It is new.
So
It's just been decided then? He's to join us?
he was in he
Yeah, it was
was
last
indoctrinated
session, too.
last
Okay,
one.
gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's officially one of us.
Sorry,
So
man.
when
We should talk about that earlier. I did miss that one.
Simon handed me
Everybody
Everybody
at some
gets
point
one.
will get a token.
okay.
And this token will
I
be-
didn't know if we got a token to give to Clovis or not.
Now you'll all, at some point you'll get your token. So, but this memory is kind of unlocked for all of you.
Mm-hmm.
The scales is what ultimately decides the fate of Bastion. Some people will cast. There's always some people who are wrapped within decision will refuse to vote.
Okay.
Uh, They will abstain completely.
Yeah. You can always abstain from voting.
So Huck, what are your thoughts?
The great American tradition.
Abstain.
What do you think about being
My
here?
word, rightfully he kind of is twiddling his thumbs together. I did not expect to be put in such a damnable position as I am with this. I didn't realize the stakes were so high.
Yeah, it's better than being in a tree, though.
Better than being chased by animals in the middle of my dreams and being in the midst of a tree. That's for damn sure, he says.
Look, you've not even met. We're all up by me now.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll assume you're kind of maybe
Look,
all
you've not
outside
even-
at this
Has he
point.
met a
Yeah.
husk yet?
What's that?
Has he even met a husk yet or seen a
Yeah, he spoke about them before.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's just a simple rule here. When you want to survive, there's only 3 things you need, right? Food, water, and shelter. Simple, right?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
That last one with shelter, now that we have the dead walking, or husk, or whatever you want to call them, shelter needs to be the priority.
We've certainly got water.
Water, we'll be able to find food. Hopefully we can start growing food. We can only do that in a settlement, a physical settlement.
That is for sure. I no doubt about that.
We should collect some of this rain water while it's raining. Wonder if there's any barrels or...
Well, I think they've got a rainwater collector just outside the stable. It seems your people have been at this for a while.
It's a manor house, I would expect that, right? Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry. Maybe I wasn't being clear. I mean, our people in Bastion. I am a newcomer, of course.
We've been at this a very long time.
That's what I took. When you welcomed me to your fire, I knew... I don't know, something just struck me right with a lot of you. something just struck me right with a lot of you. Like, y'all knew what you're doing, and I can't begrudge whatever decision you'd come to. I mean, quite honestly, I will follow your lead. I'll follow your lead, he says, kind of motioning directly to you, Clovis. Like, he immediately recognizes, like, your military position. And he's speaking direct to you, by the way. He's not really talking to anybody else. He's talking directly to you.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't have a problem going west. I really don't. But I do believe we need to regain our stamina before we do something. Also, we probably need to scout the west.
I'm working on that.
All right, Pip. You'll have to explain that in greater detail.
I've got Franklin on it.
Maybe Franklin's somebody new to the group, but
He is. Yes, I just met him today. Franklin is a crow. I mean, Franklin is a raven.
A raven.
Raven.
Yes. and no, not a raven.
Anything.
Not a raven lunatic, just a raven.
raven.
Nevermore. Nevermore.
A bird.
Yes.
Well, that's excellent.
Ravens are the custodian's own. She favors them over almost everything.
Even lives. That's what I heard.
No. She cherishes those more, but ravens are her animal.
Phil Jack.
So,
Interesting.
and being an Auspex, I can speak with them.
You know, I've seen you do enough weird shit that I unfortunately believe you.
I mean, you did find me in a tree, and I had no memory how I got there. I mean, I wouldn't think it unusual, I suppose, and I wouldn't question who or what you do.
Well,
That's
before I became an Auspex, I absolutely would have questioned it. So I wouldn't fault you if you did.
the dead walk.
Ghent is
You can talk to crows and ravens. Sure.
Ghent is a sorrowful land of many mysteries.
Oh, and it would be better off. It will be better off for us to be able to sleep with ravens, as they are a little more calm than crows. Crows are wonderful, but they're very loud.
Sounds like you were stirring them up the other day, but a little earlier. I don't know. What's so? And fast forward, you guys told me everybody's opinions.
Yeah.
So we've got one abstaining, one that will vote like Simon. Simon is undecided yet feels we need to really figure ourselves out.
We need to talk it out.
Yes, but the one that will vote with Simon did want to stay before. I mean, did want to stay if
She
they
wants
had
to
their
stay.
own. If they had their own say.
Okay.
How do you feel? It seems like you want to stay for now.
We need to stay.
No,
I
think we
we're
should.
going to die out there.
Yeah, we gotta prepare.
Well,
There goes those bells again, guys.
further west is swamp. Plenty to eat out there.
What time is it now?
Do you think we should go towards them?
No, not yet.
Towards what?
The bells.
We should definitely go towards the bells.
Okay.
Once we get walls put up.
Yeah, let's not go towards the bells quite yet. What time is it
We
now?
definitely need to investigate
Midday.
the city. We need to collect stone. We need to do a lot of things. First thing is get all of these damn wagons out of here.
Well, you've convinced me, Clovis. I think I will look to stay here for now.
I mean, even temporarily, we really just need to find ourselves again. If we want to go west after that, sure. I mean,
This land is my home. There's much to see, and it's not always this drab as it looks towards the sky.
I have many fears, and one of them is going west. If the cities we've seen are this bad, can't imagine what the Mercator's true stronghold ended up being.
You can hear an audible gulp in Puck's throat as you say that. Like it's loud, like he's got a dry, croaky throat. That's such a prospect.
It seems something we need to investigate before we go do it.
Yep.
Because all we've seen is trouble upon trouble.
Yes.
I wonder, is there anything you could do with bones?
Oh, there's a lot you can do with bones. Yeah.
You can crush them up and use them for something, or
Bone
we
broth?
can bury them. We can. They might have some magical components. We don't know what's in there.
Oh, I see what you mean. Not yet. But
So we shouldn't bury them yet until we can figure out what we're gonna do with the grounds. Literally, and the grounds.
I
as
can
in the
use
ground.
the ground that's underneath them, though.
So we're staying? So Puck inquires.
Well, that remains to be seen.
Well, everyone has to vote. My vote is obvious. We need to collect ourselves. We need to understand what's really truly going on.
My vote is to stay and to prepare for whatever we do next, which means make weapons, prepare ourselves, heal ourselves, and just have a plan.
Put simply and precisely.
If I am to be faithful to the custodian, turning my back on this city without putting the husks to rest would go against everything she stands for. So that is how I will vote. I will not want to leave until all these husks are put to rest. And that will be no easy task, as we have put something to rest.
Hey, Tama, taxes won't collect themselves here.
Well,
What do you think?
I suspect that we're not in any position to be making money until we get settled. You gotta have a settlement to collect taxes.
I'll pay my taxes in bones. Go collect a few out back.
No bones about it. That's what they say. Only certainty, death and taxes. And I specialize in both.
Well, then the fireside chat then?
Yep.
Yep.
To plead our case?
Yeah. Let's do it.
Take a quick break.
Yep, we can do that. So is there anything else you wish to do before the fireside chat happens this evening? You've talked to Stalt Kettlesmith, you talked to Simon the Small, you've spoken with Puck Huck, you spoke with Harlan, you spoke with Gretel, you spoke with Beatrix, and you spoke with Alma. Literally everybody at this point.
Is there enough wood and debris, detritus, whatever you want to call it?
Yeah,
Is
I
there-
feel like I want to take a gander around the estate to see if there's materials lying around.
Oh gosh, the sun's falling soon.
Okay.
Well, I had all that
for
time.
for now,
I just
they've
wanna-
got the wagons blocking the hole in the wall.
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah.
That's all I care
The
about.
whole yard is choked with wagons and oxen.
So we're just going to pull a wagon up in front of it.
Inside.
Perhaps we can speak with someone who was leaning the opposite direction and bend their ear, or perhaps someone that was on the fence, like Gretel.
Yeah, it's up to you guys.
I think that we have a unique position. Our recent victory will carry some weight.
Well, it sounds like the Kettle Master's just a... Doesn't matter. He's going to vote against everybody. He's going to vote against Simon.
Well, he's a bit of a
He's
contrarian.
curmudgeon.
We all know this.
He's a curmudgeon.
I think we should speak with Gretel.
To try and sway her.
Right.
I think It will become evident at the meeting.
Yeah.
She said she wasn't sure.
Well, then
She said
we
her
can.
mind probably wouldn't change given the time, but we have just a few moments before it starts. We should seize this opportunity.
I mean, if you want to, yeah, but
She has
it feels kind of icky.
Popcorn.
You know what I mean?
No, not really. I am in the habit of taking things that don't belong to me. I don't feel any moral quandary whatsoever.
Oh well, if you don't, then I guess it's okay.
Where do the votes stand at this point? We have the 5 of us, including Puck, that are going to vote to stay. Harlan's going to vote to stay.
Beatrix.
Beatrix is going to vote to stay.
Unless Simon says no, she'll vote with Simon.
It's good insight.
Simon.
Well, she said so herself.
So how many people are voting? How many tokens are there?
Well, there's
two that I'm
11.
tracking. Yeah.
of us total.
We already have 6 votes.
7 plus 4, so there's 10 total votes.
We have 6 of those votes.
Yeah.
Already to stay. Do we truly need to talk to anyone?
I suppose it's fine. A stronger vote, a more decisive vote is a stronger one, in my opinion.
If you wish, we can go and try and convince this person, but as I thought she said that you guys had said that she had stated that she didn't expect to change her mind in the next 2 hours, nor did she expect to even vote.
Well, when I spoke with her last, I was of 2 minds. Now I've made up my mind. Perhaps
Okay.
what I've learned, I can tell her, and maybe that will change her mind.
We have the time. If you wish to show a united front, let's go.
I do.
I think this will be a good meeting of the minds.
At any point throughout the day, did the rain break at all for a moment?
Not yet now.
Okay.
Seems like it's just been kind of persisting all day, unfortunately. Who do you wish to visit?
Gretel Fletcher.
Gretel. Okay. She is still inside. She seems to have found a room, and as you find her, she is checking the locks in the windows, making sure they latch closed. She turns around like instantly with a knife in hand.
Hey, it's just us.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you come up on me. Knock next time, please.
We might
Do.
need
We appreciate your efforts, by the way. It does make me
do
feel a
what you
little
were
bit safer.
talking about.
Yes.
Right.
She puts a knife in her waist. You can see her longbow not far from here.
Just came to remind you, it's getting to be about that time for the fireside chat. That is. Didn't want you to slip your mind.
Yes, of course. I plan to attend.
Well, when I spoke with you last, I was 2 minds about whether to go or stay, and spoke with most people around this camp, most people of Bastion, and I think for now we should stay. It's just we've been on the run for so long. We're kind of licking our wounds from this fight with Paladin, and there could be opportunity in the city, but there's no way of knowing until we look. So, if you ask me, I think we spend a few days, maybe a week here at least, and see what's going on. And if things look bad, we can move. But for now, we're relatively safe. I mean, at least last night, nothing came around. I just feel like it seems the right choice of action. What do you think?
This place seems safe for now, but what about tomorrow and the next day?
That's part of our plan, is to discuss tomorrow and the next day of what we're gonna do.
This evening as well.
Correct.
Yeah, tonight we're gonna.
Greta, there's 3 things that make life happen, correct? You know these. It's food, water, and shelter. Right now, shelter's the most important thing. The Husk are out there. They roam the streets, they roam everywhere. If we go west, or we go east, or we go anywhere, we're going to run into Husk. We're going to have to fight Husk. We're going to have to fight maybe torchbearers with groups of Husk. We've seen them. We've fought them. They're not easy to kill. And it doesn't.
Who knows? There may actually be people here still. I mean, the bell has been ringing.
I must admit, I care little for anyone else joining Bastion. I'm more concerned about the safety of all of us.
And that's my truest threat right now to our group is we need walls. We need to lick our wounds. We need to make sure that we can make a plan. If we truly want to go west, wouldn't scouting west be a better idea than just packing up the trains and packing up everyone and going?
And at least here we can start working on weapons, making things that can help protect ourselves.
Shields would be nice.
We can do that. That's great input for the fireside chat tonight.
It's the simplest thing. Civilization. We need to start a civilization again.
I must admit, I was on the fence, but I will consider your words when we have the fireside chat this evening. Thank you for coming back to me.
Of course, there must be civil to have civilization.
Civility.
It is nice to know what direction you are leaning as well, Thomas.
Thank you. Well, yep, looks to be about that time. We can walk down together if you'd like.
Let us.
Alright.
So you all assemble around the hearth downstairs, and the hall that was once just haunted by Simon the Small and the damned who were here before is now filled with the warmth of the fire and bodies. The doors of the double door that lead into Chateau Moreau are closed and shut, Gretel's assured, made certain to make sure of that. She is clearly very on edge, and she has been. The people gather, and suddenly the hall fills with the clamoring of noise from the lot of you. And there are only, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 people. There are 11 people. Oh, there are 11 souls in Bastion. 11 souls dwell in the chateau. Simon kind of brings things to an order. He speaks his piece to basically set the table, so to speak. He introduces once again the way of Bastion that we have always decided as a group democratically, and you always have 3 choices. Either there are 2 paths to follow, but you may abstain your vote. Metamechanically, above board for all of you, whenever you have people who vote against you, it actually reduces their loyalty to Bastion. And should their loyalty deplete, they will leave Bastion.
Oh,
You will not always be able to convince everyone to stay, but everyone has a role to play. Everyone, and you may even have different decisions among one another, but most importantly, it is the collective that matters. So, from that perspective, if this is a video game as an example, you know that if you cannot convince people to take your side, or at least convince them to abstain, it can count against you, and eventually people will leave Bastion. But there is also value in bringing more people into Bastion, to the chateau, so we kind of get to gamify this fun part too.
Right.
And I have a tracking sheet that I'm going to use to track how people vote in the future. We will have small endeavors that may occur in between these kind of important votes that may increase loyalty or even decrease loyalty in some situations. But we'll gamify that, and that'll be behind the screen. But you'll be able to find out kind of what their disposition is by simply interacting with them. I will say I really appreciate the fact that you went back and revisited, because I think you kind of picked up on a little bit on that too. Yeah. This is a really fun mechanic that I experienced playing Triangle Strategy.
Yeah, I've been playing it too.
Which is so cool.
Yeah, I really like that part of the game.
So we can emulate some of that at our own game table to make the idea of the settlement building more worthwhile. Like, we get to be able to build things, to make things, to build relationships, to grow the chateau, grow Bastion, and sometimes it will wane. Mm-hmm. So we'll have those opportunities. So you all gather in the hall. That aside, and then eventually I'm going to create a document for this. Actually explains how it all works. Nonetheless, yeah, spreadsheets, baby. So, at this point, Simon concludes his speech, and he says, "The scales will decide. I would invite all of you to speak your piece before all of Bastion, before we all cast our vote. For those who choose to abstain, 'tis your decision. None will look upon you poorly. But we are a collective. We shall tally the votes, and that is a decision we will make jointly together this evening."
So above board, is this like a social intrigue event, or is this something we can make a roll at, or is this all role play?
So this is all role play.
Okay.
We will eventually develop some fun mechanics around this, but for now it's just role play. I don't think we'll be doing any social intrigue around this at this point. We kind of got a lot of different opinions. I think if we were to do social intrigue, just a quick aside, if we were to do social intrigue, it would probably be person to person. So if you went back to giving somebody who was just like, "I want to get the fuck out of here," like, you'd probably trigger something like that where the stakes are high.
Right.
That's only typically when we use social intrigue. In combat, it's only when stakes are high.
Mm-hmm.
The stakes are high, I suppose, in this sense, but I think we can kind of use this opportunity to test the scales kind of decision-making thing, and then eventually maybe I'll mechanize that. I don't know. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
We'll play with it as we go along.
But like for this moment in the game right now, like, should we, give a speech or kind of our opinion or something like that?
Yeah. So literally going down the list. Let me write your names in here. Because you may very well you may change your opinion in the middle of the discussion. So we're just going to start alphabetically with Alma.
Okay.
And Alma kind of steps forward, and she says, and of course this is the Seattle woman, she says, "I am rather intrigued by what we may find here in Foyle. The chateau has offered us something unique we have not found on the road. A place to lay our heads that isn't a stone on the ground." This actually provokes a bit of laughter among the folk here. "I must admit, when I had first heard that Simon was in danger, I came immediately. We are kin, after all, Simon and I. But now that the paladin has been dispatched," she looks to Espilson at this point as you're wearing the sword at your waist, "I feel the time for running is over. That is how I feel about things." Beatrix is the next to step up. The young one with the long dark hair and the dark blue robes with the one sleeve of her one hand. She walks forward, her hands kind of folded into the folds of her robes. And she says, you can barely hear her at first because she's so soft-spoken, and she clears her throat. "Like Alma, I too am intrigued by what we may find here in this city. It is dreadfully unfortunate what has happened to the Ivory Lady." She looks towards Simon. "I thought that perhaps she would be able to keep us safe. Macadian Knight or not. But she is dead." the same token, I can understand my friend Alma's desire to stay, to find safety. I admit I am torn. I'm not certain what direction I will lead. At this point, Simon steps forward and kind of taps it. He wraps his staff and says, "Clovis, speak your peace before the fire. We shall hear your words."
I'm a simple man. I'm a military man. Walls make sense. We have an enemy we don't know, we don't understand. We have no destination, and a foe that has been vanquished that we believe, but could still find us. Walls are a requirement for any settlement, especially a settlement as weak as us. We need to be able to protect ourselves and the husk are out there. As I've said to most of you in the last day or so, there's only 3 things you need to survive. Right? Water, food, and shelter. Right now, we need shelter more than anything, so that we can start gathering those other 2 and make a plan. Is it west? Is it where we go? We need to find that out. We need to hold up for a little while. That's my belief.
You hear Stall yell, "That's goddamn right!"
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You're your fan club.
That's the guy who I thought was going to vote against this.
Simon says, he wraps his staff again. "Spillicent, speak your words before Bastion. We shall hear them."
Well, as you know, I am one to keep moving and keep going. However, with not knowing what's beyond these walls, and the walls after these walls, and the walls after those walls, we're not prepared to face whatever is out there. So I believe staying here and figuring out how to prepare ourselves to create weapons, I believe is, as Clovis says, having shelter is priority. I also believe that having weapons is also top of the list, something to protect ourselves if the need should arise, and when we do decide to leave, we should be well equipped before we go. So I vote to stay here to prepare us for whatever our next adventure may be.
You can feel Alma's presence from across the room as she softly nods, agreeing with you. "Very well then." Simon steps forward. "We shall hear from Gretel next." Gretel walks forward, kind of flipping her red hair undercut over her face, and she kind of rubs her eyes. "I have thought long and hard about this. I must admit that since we have been on the road, I have not been able to sleep. I have been plagued by nightmares, ceaseless. Some of you know how I felt about my father, about Sybil. This news did not. I thought it would pain me, but it didn't. It reminded me that a cruel father is mortal just as all of us. But of the pain of his death that worried me, it was what could befall me. I thought running was the best path. I thought that would be the direction we should go, that we should abandon this place. think my mind has changed. I am on the wall, I suppose, still. I don't like all this preparation that must come. But we have no other choice. It is stay for me. Simon walks forward once again. Harlan. It is difficult for him to speak with his ailment. But Harlan has assured me that he wishes to stay as well. Across the way you can see Harlan. You can only see half his face because there's literally a papier-mâché mask that's meant to resemble flesh covering up this. You suspect part of his face is missing, but it's painted like a face. It goes over this. It's tied with letters around his head. And you've spoke with him a few times, and it seems to be pained when he talks. He's constantly clearing his throat or trying to gather saliva to even be able to speak. Part of his body has actually been heavily wounded. It's always constantly covered. But he nods to Clovis and also to Simon to confirm he wishes to stay. Estrella, beloved Auspix, pray tell your words, your thoughts.
Well, I am not shy about my faith, even in lands such as this. But I am coming to understand as I spend more time with Clovis why that is the case. But nevertheless, I do have an obligation, and this obligation is one that would further me to stay here. So obligation makes me want to put the husks at rest, and my other wants in life, I'd like to have a beer. I'd like to have some wine. I think we could do that here. So I vote to stay, but if it becomes a point to where it would be folly to, then we could always pick up in the wagons and go. So I say stay until it is too dangerous. And she puts her coin in the stay pile.
We shall hear next from someone who is new to Bastion. Master Huck, please, the floor is yours. He kind of comes forward and... Well, I certainly didn't expect to be put in this position, but forgive me, for we haven't met before. My name is Puck Huck. And he kind of straightens his blue mantle. And it's thanks to these good folk here that who welcomed me to their fire that night and told me I could come with them and meet y'all. Not knowing where the hells I was or why I was even in a tree. The whole thing seems rather absurd thinking about it now. And I wish I knew why. I need to know why. I don't know if that need can be fulfilled here in this city, but I do trust Clovis. And I do trust these good folk who brought me here. And I don't know all of you very well yet, but I certainly look forward to it. My vote is to cast a stay. I suppose that I am next. You all know my mind. You all have... This is Simon, by the way. You all have been with me in different capacities over these years. From my student, Beatrix, to my beloved cousin, Alma. I have been here and back across Gallion many times in my lives. I would plead to the custodian, to the learner, to reveal more to me about why I'm here. My desire is selfish, I suppose, in that sense. I don't believe in omens. I don't believe in prognosticating the future. I don't stare into pools and hope that the answer will come to me. It is through our minds and through pragmatism that we are able to suss out, to make the best educated guess, which is what we must do. The learner is dead. His influence over me, his guidance is gone, absent. There's a hole in my heart that I cannot seem to fill, even though I am surrounded by such joyous and wonderful friends such as you, equals, peers in our endeavor. We are Bastion together. But admittedly, with the Ivory Lady, with her passing, and uncertainty about the Maidens of Pain, I cannot cast my vote in either direction. I was for certain that if we came here we would be safe, but I feel a burden of responsibility. If we were to stay, death would be on my hands. If we were to go, death would be on my hands. I don't have enough information to make an informed vote. This is all too fresh and new, but a decision must be made. I'm afraid I must abstain. Now, Master Laurent, you have the floor.
Wouldn't Stall be before me?
Oh, yes. Forgive me. My mind is far away. Yes. Master Stoll.
I don't want to be accused of cutting in front of anyone.
Y'all know me. He steps forward. You know what I'm about. You know how I feel about things. I'm a straight shooter. I ain't one to pussyfoot around with things, but I also ain't someone to second guess good advice. I thought this is all horse shit coming here in the first place. We didn't know it was going to be in this city at the damn we walking about. Swords and guns ablazing wouldn't matter one shit less. We had put our stock in Master Simon's Ivory Lady. Big honking Mercadian knight with a big damn sword and a big damn name and a bunch of big damn armies to keep us safe. And now look at her. All strung up. Horrible, horrible outcome. You know, part of me's just thinking to leave anyway. But I kind of see it in the same way as y'all do. You'd only run for so long, and you ain't gonna get very far on your own. That may seem a little selfish, but you know me. Sure, I'll make your fucking kettles and your pots and pans and take care of the ox and do whatever damn other business there is to do. That's just the way I was born. And I'm okay with that. But I ain't high-minded like y'all. Well, I think we stay. I think we stay and make something of this. If it don't work, well, we get the fuck out. That's how I'm voting. Last but not least, Master Laurent. Simon Issues.
Thank you, Simon.
You have the floor.
I must admit, this morning, I was two minds of this, but as you all know, I made the rounds, talked to everyone around here, and, you know, it's just, part of me just thinks, you know, we don't have much information, but I do hear these bells ringing in the city, there's someone out there. There's someone out there that could help us. I say we stick around here. Maybe we meet some people that could help us out. Maybe we get on our feet a little bit more. I mean, I'm used to traveling. I feel at home on the road, but there's just so many things that we don't know. We don't know what's out there. If we just shack up here for a few days at least, get our bearings, lick our wounds, we'll be able to make a better decision. I say we at least stay here a week, and then probably longer, but we'll see how things go. I think we should stay.
Very well. We shall cast our lots and count them. We have 9 to stay. 2 lots to abstain. None to go. The decision is made. He raps his staff twice. We shall stay in Chateau Morel.
Simon, with that, we think we need to start signing the duties. We gotta get that wall put together. We've gotta get some things done if we're gonna stay. You are the leader.
Well,
do you wish us to police the yard and collect the bones and, bury them and start slowly taking out the husk? And I know what she wants to do. She wants to save the lady. At least release their souls. These are all important jobs.
He sits down, or out on the floor where he's at. Beatrix comes over and helps him back on his feet. I am old. My ailments, I think the Valkyries are coming for me soon. Ever since the sword was brought back and the death of the paladin I felt a weakness in my bones. A weakness I've never felt before. I don't know if this is all catching up to me, but I cannot be your leader. I am not fit for that. It is part of the reason why I have abstained. I did not want my voice to drive the lots as it has done before. The risk you have all taken for me over these years in different capacities, I can never begin to repay any of you for it. But in one way, my mind is waning. What's left up in here is slowly rotting, and I think it's moving faster. The sickness. I have to pass this rod to somebody else. I do not even have the temperament nor the muscle to do so any longer. Heavy is the crown.
Why don't we do some committees for those? Put some leaders responsible for those.
He places a hand upon your shoulder and he says, "There is no debating what must happen.
Yeah.
It is what happened to me before all of you were here at Bastion. The rod was given to me, and with it came a responsibility. I must pass it on to you, Master Laurent."
This is, I don't know if I can accept this. This is Bastion. I hope it to become a place of civilization, of civility. These days, I'm a man of war. Someone martially minded shouldn't lead.
I, too, when I was young, fought in the wars. I was a young squire at one time, believe it or not. That was only 3 years ago. But yet look what it's done to me. I was once like you. But the tides shift. When you carry such a weight on your shoulders, you have no choice but change your ways. I found strength in taking on the rod of leadership. I think it should go to you.
I suppose I can take it up, but I will certainly be relying on this as he gestures towards the scales.
Well,
This is not
if you want,
unilateral.
I will.
This is not a unilateral decision. I'll gladly take it on, but the heavy decision should go to everyone.
The scales decide. It has always been our way. Take it.
The day-to-day, the particulars, I can do it. I have a mind for ledgers, delegating, that sort of thing. You know me.
He likes to delegate.
The sun sets today. We've been together for so long. The new dawn comes tomorrow. We shall look to Master Laurent to drive the decision making. What needs to be done. And when there is indecision, when there is disagreement, the scales will decide.
Well, should we decide right now what the priorities are?
Beatrix, please, take me to my room. I need to lie down. There's a hushed silence among everyone. And we'll conclude our session here tonight. We'll pick back up in a couple weeks. Yeah.
So do we add a
So, two things, just quickly for us to remember, and this is mostly for Adam. We'll need to make sure to, you may want to make a note on this, like we need to revisit Franklin, right? And then, this is a note for Tim, we'll need to figure out what we're going to do next with what happens with the wagons, how we decide what to do about getting the wall in a place it needs to be, what to do with the oxen. So, some decision making to think about in between the sessions, we can talk about it next game, obviously. But let's, there's no corruption tonight. So, you all can decide to go either one step up the order ranks or one step up the chaos rank. It's up to you. Decide what direction you want to move. It's entirely up to you. And you also get a new unlock, so you can buy a new ability on your advances sheet, whatever you like. But in these few short minutes we have, let's go around the table and talk about what happened this evening. Let's start first with Nick, with Thomas Laurent. Thomas Laurent.
So Thomas, he was kind of conflicted at the beginning of the session about whether to go or stay. He's so used to being a bailiff and then just gallivanting around the country, and it just seems the right. He may not have the memories of it, so to speak, but it just seems right to go about collecting taxes and these sorts of things. But it was kind of a microcosm of the last scene with him alone, talking with everyone and finally making up his mind as to what needed to be done, because there's pros and cons for both going and staying, and in the end it's kind of at least a temporary situation for him, temporary solution.
Yeah.
So I think he may change his mind in the future, but for now I think he wants to stick around and try to get a better footing on what's become, because the maps for this area kind of been rewritten.
Yeah.
Based on this apocalypse, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What about Clovis, Tim?
I think it was pretty easy that Clovis. mean, for him, it's simple. Walls protect. We've got to stay. We've got to figure out what the actual plan is because nobody knew what the plan was. I think we kind of thought the same way on that. There's no plan, then we might as well at least stay, figure out that plan, and actually maybe scout whatever that plan is or prepare for that plan in whatever way we can.
So it seems like it's more than just survival now. It's like survival here.
Right.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, you have to start... at some point, civilization has to start over, right? Here, there's walls. That seems like a pretty easy solution.
Yeah.
And larger walls around this place
Yeah.
so we get it cleared out, right? So,
Yeah. That's a good point. It's like this place is full of possibility.
Right. The possibility's here, You just gotta put in the work.
Let's move next to Pipistrella.
Pipistrella is kind of torn between obligation and what she knows she needs to do, at least according to what she's been taught, and her own fear. Like, it's not necessarily that she's afraid of the dead, but she's afraid of what they can do, and that is kill her. And so she's torn between just trying to stay hidden inside this building, but also there's possibly people out there ringing a bell, maybe for help.
Yeah.
Who knows? She needs to put these restless dead to rest. So yeah, that's so she's struggling with that a lot.
Yeah. Last but not least, Espillicent.
I think the nomad the nomad part of Espillicent is ready to go at all times, but they're starting to realize the importance of preparing, because at this point everything is unknown. The bells, kept hearing the bells happening through the whole thing, so that kind of brought a hyper awareness to the possibility of something out there, and so Espillicent is all about, yes, let's get this going, but we need to also be smart about it before we start to progress. So we need to be prepared both mentally, physically, and with weapons. I'm very concerned, Espillicent's very concerned about having things to protect herself, or themselves, and their people around them, and just making sure that once something does happen, or if something happens while we're stationary, we have to have items in place to be able to protect. And so that's where Espillicent's mind is protection and weapons.
Yeah, good. Well, we'll.
Has anybody thought about it's just the husk ringing the bell? Because remember, it's
Ding.
they do simple activities that they're stuck into.
We'll find out
rhythmic
soon.
patterns.
Guess we'll
They're
find
stuck
out.
in patterns here.
I sure do want a weapon or a shield before I find that out.
Well, we'll continue for session 6 and find out what happens next. So, plug in soon.
All right.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Hey there, viewers. If you like what you're seeing, take the next step. Head on over to our Patreon, where we create content for Zweihander and other games. Just go to grimandperilous.com and click on the Patreon button. Thanks.